Well, welcome to a new episode of Washington Informer News. This is Let's Talk. I'm your host, Denise Rollard Barnes, and you're here on WIN TV. We're having a little technical difficulty this morning, but we're still looking forward to a great show. And I am excited about today's lineup. We have an incredible series of segments with guests who embody the spirit of entrepreneurship, community development, and advocacy. But before we get started, I just want to lift up our prayers and condolences for the families who were lost this week, for the family members, for the families whose members were lost this week. I'm so sorry. In the flight collision over the Potomac. It was quite a disastrous situation, and I'm hearing a beep in here. It sounds like emails. So I got to figure out how to cut that off. But anyway, such a tragic situation, and one that we will be following here at the Washington Informer over the days and weeks to come, as this sort of unfolds and we figure out what happened. As many of you all know, our newspaper is located right near Bowling, which formerly was Bowling Air Force Base, so it's not far from where the accident occurred. And we are just as distressed and concerned about what happened, I think, as everybody else is. We know that our president of the United States and all others have issued their condolences as well, but some have gone so far, Mr. Trump, to accuse folks for the failure that may have happened on that day. We really want to know the facts. And before we do that, we just have to make sure that we join and echo the tributes that have been given to the first responders, folks that came from all over the DMV and beyond, to continue to try to locate the bodies and to, just to try to make sure that all the evidence is collected and that we will know exactly why this happened. I even have to say, as a matter of fact, for some of us that live in this community, those airplanes are flying over our heads every single day. And so are the helicopters. And so that's why this is such a serious situation for us, because we're concerned about, what is happening in the air and who is managing this situation and how it's going to be corrected. We know that it was a freak accident, but it was an accident, and clearly, and many lives were lost. So follow us at the Washington Informer, where you can hear and read more about our coverage as we follow this tragic incident. Tomorrow, February 1st, starts the month-long celebration of Black history. And yes, we celebrate our Blackness every day of our lives, but February, being set aside as Black History Month, was started by an organization founded by Dr. Carter G. Woodson on September the 9th, 1915. That organization, and full disclosure, I'm a board member, but that organization is the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. And some of you all may know it as ASALH. That's just an easier acronym to say besides the whole name. But when we look at Black History Month, which was formerly Black History Week when Dr. Woodson started it, we always ask the question, why is it only 1 month? Or was it only 1 week? Or why is it in the month of February? So we have a video that we'd like to bring to you that was presented to us by Dr. K. Wise Whitehead, who is the president of ASALH. And as we go into this Black History Month, I want us all to listen to this and take heed to the words that she's sharing with us. And we're going to share that with you right now.
Hello, I'm Dr. K. Wise Whitehead, the president of the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, ASALH. Black History Month 2025, we proclaim it. According to former Georgia Representative Julian Bond, Black Panther leader Elbridge Cleaver once said that when Rosa Parks chose to stay seated on that bus in Montgomery, Alabama, somewhere in the universe, a gear in the machinery shifted and everything changed. A gear shifting moment. In the history of this country, in the ongoing fight against racial oppression, against a white supremacist narrative, and against the racial apartheid laws that were passed and upheld, there have always been gear-shifting moments when individual people have taken a stand. Gears shift when we choose to fight, when we choose to stand up, and when we refuse to back down. The moral arc of the universe does not bend on its own toward justice. It bends because we push it and because we are willing to continue to do it until change actually happens. In 1926, when Dr. Carter G. Woodson, the founder of ASALH, the son of formerly enslaved parents, a former sharecropper and miner, and the second Black person to receive a PhD in history from Harvard University, when he sent out a press release announcing the first Negro History Week, a gear shifted. He chose February because the Black community was already celebrating the historic achievements on the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. Dr. Woodson did not wait for the celebration of our history to be proclaimed. He proclaimed it. He did not wait for someone to give him permission to celebrate what we have contributed to this country. He celebrated it. Dr. Woodson understood that Black parents had been teaching their children our history since we arrived in this country. Our stories and achievements had been carried by the wind and buried in the soil. It had been whispered as bedtime stories, spoken from the pulpits on Sunday mornings and woven throughout our songs and poems of resistance and survival. America did not have to tell us who we were to this country. We told them. America did not have to tell us that we built this country. Our fingerprints are etched into the stones. America does not have to proclaim Black History Month because we proclaim it. We live in the legacy of Dr. Woodson, and as we have done for 98 years, we will celebrate who we are and all that we have accomplished. We stand at the intersection of the past and the future, and what we do at this moment will determine how the next gear shifts. The 2025 Black History Month theme is African Americans labor, which focuses on the various and profound ways that work and working of all kinds, free and unfree, skilled and unskilled, vocational and voluntary, intersect with the collective experiences of Black people. We're celebrating our visible labor, from the work we did back then to build the White House, to the work we do right now to hold the White House accountable. From repairing the roads to teaching in our schools, from stocking shelves to packing and unloading trucks, from working in the federal government to our ongoing labor in the state and local offices. We're also celebrating our invisible labor, from raising and teaching our children to caring for our aging family members, from finding ways to practice revolutionary self-care to finding ways to hope beyond hope in a country that frequently targets and terrorizes Black people. We bear witness to what it means to work hard every day and to get sick and tired of working so hard. As the president of ASALH, one of the many legacy keepers of Dr. Carter G. Woodson, I am excited to proclaim and uplift the start of Black History Month 2025. I believe that ASALH is a lighthouse that you do not notice until you need it. When boats are caught in a storm or in the fog, they look for a lighthouse to help guide them safely back to the shore. We have been standing as a lighthouse, proudly proclaiming the importance of Black history and helping people to understand that it is only through the studying of the quilted narrative of our historical journey that we can see the silences, the blind spots, the hypocrisy, and the distortions of American history. We do not celebrate because we are given permission. We celebrate because we are the permission givers. We do not wait for Black History Month to be proclaimed because we are proclaiming it. We do not wait to be seen because we see ourselves. We do not have to be told the story of America because we're writing it. We are telling it. We are owning it, and we are pointing the way to it. We invite you to join with us as we once again celebrate and center the incredible contributions that Black people have made to this beautiful and imperfect nation. Happy Black History Month 2025. We proclaim it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Whitehead. That was a profound statement, and you all may know that there's a concern every year. The President of the United States, whomever that president is, proclaims Black History Month. there's a chance that may not happen tomorrow. We have no indication that it won't, but then we have lots of concerns that it won't. So I'm so glad that she reminds us that this is our Black History Month and that we shall proclaim it. So I appreciate those words. And if you want to say amen, put something in the chat. We'd love to hear from you and to get your words or your responses to that message. Before we move on, I want to take a few minutes, as I already had, to tell you about some of an individual that we heard recently was lost in the plane collision over the Potomac, and that was Howard University Professor Kia Duggan, a law professor who was also on the flight. And this tragedy has affected so many people, but she was returning to Howard. I think this would have been her first year of teaching. And so we are especially sending our prayers out to her and her family and the students that she would have been teaching this year at Howard University. I hope you picked up a copy of this week's Washington Informer. If you haven't picked up a printed edition, and I always like to show the print edition, so I'm going to show that to you now. Because for those of you, I can't even see it. But anyway, y'all know what the paper looks like. Told you we have a lot of issues this morning, but this is the paper. You can pick it up at your nearest newsstand. We've got about 600 locations throughout the DMV. So make sure you get a copy of the Informer. But if you don't want or can't get or can't access the printed copy, you can always go to our website, which is www.washingtoninformer.com. There you can read the latest news that we produce every single day. And also, you will see a little box that will pop up and will ask you to subscribe to our digital edition, which we email out at least when daily, which is our digital newsletter that comes out every day. So we ask you to sign up, share it with your friends. There you are. And there are other newsletters we have there as well. But sign up for Win Daily. That will keep you up to date on the news that we are covering in the Black community. I'm so happy to see at least quite a few people joining us today. I am really thrilled about that because that makes a difference. You all don't know, and I just have to share this with you. While we're hearing about what's happening in the federal government and the jobs and the contracts and all this anti-DEI, here we are again, the Black press, right in the bullseye of what is a loss of advertising, which supports us and allows us to hire journalists and writers and the producers of this program, myself, to bring you what we think is the news you can use. And so just by signing up means so much to us because that helps us when we have to go and talk to advertisers to say, yeah, we have an audience. It might not compare to the big guys, but it compares well to, it means that people are watching and people are reading and paying attention and want the information that we're providing. So there's no cost to you. And so we hope that you will sign up, become a part of the WIN family, Washington Informer News. We call it the WIN family, and share it with those who you think might benefit by the news that we provide every week. I'm trying to create this saying, you may want to get away from the news, but you all remember Kathy Hughes used to say information is power. Mm-hmm. So you may not want the news, but you should clearly want information. And that's what we're going to provide you here at the Washington Informer. And also, I'll just add that you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, Nextdoor, all the social media channels. I'm not going to advertise them today, but all the social media channels that you're on, you can find us there as well. But we hope that you will subscribe to our digital edition and that you will also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Washington Informer TV, no spaces, Washington Informer TV, where you'll find all the episodes that we've broadcast over the years. I think we are now in our, what year, Chevy? Is it 5th year? Can you believe it? This is what I call our COVID baby, right? We created this because we couldn't get newspapers out, but we were continuing, our staff, our reporters were still continuing to produce news and content. So we wanted to make sure, Sherry says it's 6. I can't believe it's been that long. Time flies when you're having fun. But anyway, let me move on. Our guests today are Kristina Sicard, Senior Business Consultant at Chase, and Shankara McNair, co-founder of Xceptional Travel Destinations, who are going to talk to us about a program that Chase has that is really, I think, a great program. And I believe that Shankara is one of the beneficiaries at that program. And so we're going to learn some more about that. And that segment is sponsored by Chase. We will also have Evette Banfield, who is the Chief Economic Officer of the Coalition, who will provide an overview of a program for executives called the Elevate program. And so it's one for executive training, what have you. And I think I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. And then I won't say long lost friend, but a good friend of the Washington Informer and, of course, the DC community, especially the community Ward 8, Catherine Buell, who's the board chair of Women of Color in Community Development, will be with us to help us to understand the goals and themes of a forum celebrating women of color and their contributions in the community and economic development. And finally, we're going to talk to H. Leonard, the owner of the O Street Mansion and founder of the O Street Museum. This is the 40th anniversary, folks. I don't know if you all remember the song, We Are the World. Anyway, the 40th anniversary of We Are the World, USA for Africa, and which is just around the corner. So H is going to share with us an exciting event planned to honor this legacy and the ongoing fight against famine and poverty. So you know what the lineup is. Don't go away. We'll be right back with a segment sponsored by Chase right after our weekly news broadcast by Curtis Knowles.
This is Win TV News, bringing you the news that matters. Investigators with the National Transportation Safety Board are in the initial stages of what's setting up to be a sprawling and consequential probe into a deadly mid-air crash between a regional passenger jet and a military helicopter just outside of D.C. and Reagan National Airport in Arlington, Virginia. The crash killed 67 people, including 60 passengers, and 4 crew members of the American Airlines flight from Wichita, Kansas to Reagan National. The 3 soldiers aboard the Army Black Hawk helicopter have also died. Thursday was the first full day of the NTSB's team's access to the crash site, as investigators made way for search and dive teams in the Potomac River on Wednesday night. Close to 50 members of the NTSB were on scene, combing through the wreckage. Todd Inman, a member of the NTSB, said that the preliminary report will be within 30 days and commented saying, quote, "Our mission is to understand not just what happened, but why it happened, and to recommend changes to prevent it from happening again." The Smithsonian Institution will close its Office of Diversity, a spokesperson confirmed Tuesday, only a week after President Trump directed all federal diversity, equity, and inclusion offices and staff to be laid off. The Smithsonian Secretary Lonnie G. Bunch III emailed staff announcing the closure, calling it, quote, "the first step in addressing the new federal policy." The institution received 53% of its revenue from federal appropriations in 2023, according to an annual report, and it also received $91 million in gifts and donations in 2023. The Smithsonian has over 20 museums in the D.C. area and employs 22% of the area's senior population. The Smithsonian Institute commented saying, quote, "While it is committed to excellence in our workforce, free from discrimination and harassment, we are closing our Office of Diversity, but retaining our efforts as it serves a critical function." The Nehemiah Project DC, in collaboration with district recovery advocates, opened a long-awaited inpatient respite center on January 1st. The facility is dedicated to men grappling with drug addictions and offers hope and helpful services to uplift residents, combat substance abuse, and address health inequalities. Ralph Williams, founder of Nehemiah Project DC, along with Demetrius Jones, certified peer recovery specialist with DC Recovery Community Alliance, are proud to spearhead the new facility. Located on Sheriff Road Northeast, the 8-unit building includes 2 beds per dwelling with a living room space and kitchenette, housing a maximum of 15 residents at a time. In addition, there's a staff-operated vehicle designated to transport residents back and forth to medical and other support services appointments.
All right. Thank you so very much, Curtis. A lot of news taking place here in the DMV and around the country. And can you imagine? We had to reach out to him, Lonnie Bunch, when he had to sign that letter that he sent out to the staff there at the Smithsonian, the founder of the African American Museum of History and Culture, and say that the DEI program was ending. What can I say? At any rate, let's move on. I am so pleased to have this next segment sponsored by Chase. And I am welcoming Kristina Sicard, who is the Senior Business Consultant at Chase, and Shankara McNair, co-founder of Exceptional Travel Destinations. Thank you first, Kristina and Chase, for sponsoring this segment, and welcome both of you to Let's Talk.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, Denise. It's wonderful to be here.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So, um, we've been doing this series, or you all showcasing some of the coaching impact, some of those who have been in the coaching impact program. So, tell us a little bit about what the program is, Kristina, and how you got involved afterwards, Shankar.
Absolutely. So, as you mentioned, we've had a partnership with the Informer for the past 4 years, sharing financial wellness tips, and we share monthly content on the Informer's website under the Money Talk session, talking about budgeting, building credit, staying safe from scams, things like that. And then we also have showcase. People like Shankara. She is one of our mentees within the Coaching for Impact team. It's a program that we offer to local business owners to help them elevate their business. We help them with things like access to capital, how to develop business. We also talk about things like cash flow management, and it's one-on-one coaching and an opportunity for us to do a deep dive into the individual businesses, see where they are, and see what resources we can provide them to help them to get to the next level. And so I'll let Shankara share a little bit about more about her experience with the Coaching for Impact program and myself as well.
Well, Shankar, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Absolutely. As you guys have heard, I'm Shankara McNair. I'm co-owner of XTD Travel or Exceptional Travel Destinations. We are a woman-owned and Black-owned boutique travel agency here in the DMV, and we specialize in curating group destination travel experiences for people of color, right? We've been doing this now for approximately 20 years, actually a little over 20 years. Got serious about it in 2019 and actually launched the company in 2020, and we've not looked back. And in doing that, I can say that starting a new business, taking it from being a hobby or a passion to an actual full-fledged business has a lot of different things you need to make sure you care for. And so we're just very grateful to be able to be part of the Coaching and Impact program because working with Kristina, who's our mentor, it's been very eye-opening, right, in a lot of different respects. She's taught us a lot about how to manage cash flow. We did a SWOT analysis. We did this whole big exercise where we had to look at the our profile, travel industry profile, and to learn it and understand it and be able to read it, be able to interpret it. And I just can't express the additional lens, right, that we got on our business and how to take it to the next level by being a part of this program and being a part of some of these different exercises and homework assignments she's given us and she's challenged us to do and to complete. It's really changed our perspective on how we do business, right? It's changed our perspective on what we think we should be doing or shouldn't be doing in business, right? And it's put a lens on how, from a financial standpoint, that's a big downfall a lot of time for companies who are owned by people of color. We don't understand the finances, right? Thank goodness we understood the finances, but she's helped us to refine our understanding of their finances. So just very excited to be here and to be able to talk about our experience in the program and how it's helping us to level our business up.
Well, you got it all in one segment. I mean, in one statement, Shankar, and that's fantastic. But one of the questions I want to know, or answers I'm looking to receive, Kristina, and Shankar, is how did you two connect? I mean, Shankar, were you already a Chase customer, or how did you learn about the program? And then, Kristina, how do businesses actually, get accepted into this program?
Yeah, absolutely. Word travels fast, but it's a good program, right? So one of our coaches for another program we're part of actually went through the Chase program, and her company has done extremely, extremely well. And she highly recommended the program to us. And she put us in touch with Kristina and said, "You guys need to talk to her. It's a great program. Get in it, take advantage of it. Learn what she's trying to teach you guys, apply it, and I promise you, your business will take on to go up to the next level." And so we followed her advice. We reached reached out to Kristina, and we got signed up for the program. And we're so grateful for her and to Kristina for being a part of the program.
So, Kristina, tell us, I mean, how does one become a part of the program? Is it an application process? Do you have to be a Chase customer? How does it work?
Yeah, so one of the great things about the program is we have minimum requirements. You need to be in business for at least 2 years and doing a minimum of $100,000 in revenue. Does that mean we only work with small businesses? No, I have some businesses that I work with that have, double digits, $1 million revenue companies. And there's a number of ways to find us. You can go to chase.com/coaching for impact. And there you can apply to have a consultant reach out to you. You do not have to be a Chase client, right, to take advantage of the program. So we work with both Chase and non-Chase clients, and the program is complimentary, right? And so there is no cost. Everything is taken care of through Chase. And so, sometimes folks walk into a branch, our bankers will introduce us. I meet people from doing segments like this with the Informer. We also do a lot of or work with organizations. I just came from a group organization, the Women of Prince George's Jumpstart Procurement Program, and I meet people at different programs like that. So there's so many different ways. And once you reach out to us, as long as we have capacity and you meet those minimum requirements, then we can take you into the program. And I say we because I have another colleague, Darla Harris, who I'm sure you'll meet as well. And she also does the program here. And we work with clients in DC, Northern Virginia, Maryland. So a lot of opportunity for clients to meet with us and take part.
So when is there like a schedule of when the programs start? So if one were interested now, is there a certain time that they would need to reach out to you or to apply to get into the next, say, cohort?
That's a great question. So we're a little bit different in the sense that we're not a cohort-based program. So we're always taking in folks. So our program is about 4 months long, or 2 to 4 months. It kind of depends on what the business needs and how long we take to, kind of accomplish the goals we've set out after we complete our SWOT analysis. And so we're typically working with about 40 people on a rolling monthly basis. Once we've completed everything, we send our clients off to graduation. So every month we're graduating clients, and every month we're taking in new clients. And so until it gets too big for us and we can't manage, you're usually taking in clients all the time, week after week in, week out. And so there's always opportunity.
Wonderful. And Shankara, what is your objective? Why did you want to? No, I should not. Why did you want to? But what do you plan to get out of this? Where do you think this is going to take you once you complete the program or your
Absolutely.
business?
Absolutely. Well, because we are impassioned about providing travel opportunities for people of color, right? We want to make sure we expand that. There's not a lot of Black-owned travel companies, especially boutique travel companies, that do what we do at the level we do it at, right? And so for us, it was about putting ourselves in a position to be able to expand the business, right? To understand what that entails. And so for us, our primary objective in 2025 is to expand our product offerings, right? We have select product offerings now where we do our VIP trips every year. We're 6 trips that we have ambassadors that go on those trips. They're completely custom curated. Everything is taken care of for you. You just have to show up to the plane, get on the plane, and we've got you covered from there. And they're mostly all inclusive. That's something we do. We provide amazing payment options for our clients. Just trying to make sure from our community perspective, we address the needs of our community from a travel perspective and allow them to go to those places they thought they could never go to, right? And so for us, it's being able to take all those dreams, those aspirations, those goals that we have, the vision we have for the company, and expand on it, right? And to do that, we had to figure out how to make sure our cash flow is right. So Kristina has spanked our hand and kind of made us to learn how to understand the different types of cash flow and put us in a mindset of how to use our resources, right, to create new resources to help us to expand the business. So for that information and that knowledge, it's just been invaluable for us.
And Kristina, before we close, what is the objective of Chase at the end of this? What does Chase get out of it?
obviously we want to help businesses grow, right? Small businesses, they are the ones that power our communities. They are the ones that provide jobs for the local community. And we want to make sure that we're giving resources to everyone so that we can impact the global economy and lift everyone up, because I think we need to make sure everyone has access to resources and information so that they can get to the next level, so that we can have a fully inclusive economy that's going to be sustainable long term.
Well, you have said some words today that I feel really excited about, and the proof is in the pudding with Shankara. But you've talked about diversity, you've talked about equity, you've talked about inclusion, and you've talked about access. So I congratulate Chase for continuing on that road, and for businesses, for Shankara, for taking advantage of this opportunity. We're going to put up the link again so that folks who are watching, if they're interested in learning more about the program, how they can reach out. Anything in particular you need to let them know, Kristina, when they do reach out on your website?
No, just go to chase.com, coaching for impact, and you'll scroll down to the bottom. There's an area where you can input your information, and someone will reach out to them and share with your friends. We have consultants nationwide. So if you have friends in another state, someone will reach out to them close to where they live. We just want to keep spreading the word. We're very much a grassroots kind of, business here at Chase, as we've been growing over the past few years, this line of business. And so we look forward to just continuing to grow and helping more clients and making an impact.
Wonderful. That's fantastic. And Shankara, we might have to get you back on, because, gone are the days now when people want to get online and buy their own plane tickets and make their own reservations and try to get from here and there. They need folks like you. So
Absolutely. We'd be happy to come back on. Absolutely.
Wonderful. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Ladies, have a wonderful day. Again, thank you, Chase, for sponsoring this segment. We look forward to hearing from more of the folks that you all have been working with over the past few months or the past year, or the folks that are coming up. We appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you, Denise, for having us again. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank
All
you.
righty. Have a great one.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And so, this is what we do. Information. It's, I know y'all are running away from the news. People say, I'm cutting off my TV. I'm not watching news anymore, but you need information. And that's what we do at the Washington Informer. And that's what we're trying to do here at Let's Talk on WIN TV. And speaking of that, it's my pleasure to bring Evette Banfield, Chief Economic Officer of the Coalition for Nonprofit and Economic Development, which I know has changed its name, but we gave the long title. And Evette will explain why there's a short title. Welcome to the show, Evette.
Thank you. Welcome.
So, oh, my pleasure. Tell us first a little bit about you, and then wrap that into what the coalition is.
Sure. So, again, Evette Banfield. I'm the Chief Economic Development Officer at the Coalition for Nonprofit Housing and Economic Development, also known as the Coalition. And I have been in DC working here in the District of Columbia and working for the Coalition for the last 10 years, really lifting up and helping to build and strengthen the local small business ecosystem and focus on workforce development here in the District of Columbia.
The thing that I don't know if people realize, and why your programs are so valuable, Chase, as well, is that if we build up, but we tend to hire our people, right? And then that provides opportunities for them to live life, right? To do the things that people that have income can do. And that's why I think it's important to support a program like what you're going to share with us. But also, I think that's the objective of this conversation. Now, talk about the Elevate program. What is that, and what are the key objectives?
Sure. So Elevate stands for the Executive Leadership, Education, Venture, Advancing Talented Entrepreneurs. That's a mouthful.
Yeah, I can imagine you all sitting around a table trying to figure out, what are we going to call this? Let's call it Elevate. What did the letters stand for?
That's right. And so, when you hear elevate, you already imagine what that means, to lift up, and so what our goal and objective for this program, it is a 3-month executive education program, and its aim is to focus on minority businesses, minority-owned businesses in the District of Columbia. And we've expanded it to include, for this new cohort 5, the DMV. So businesses that are located in Northern Virginia as well as Maryland, but particularly are doing business also in the district, they are eligible to participate. And we want to make sure that we are helping those businesses make a mindset shift in how they operate their businesses, and so that they can see or experience exponential growth, expansion in their businesses. Our goal is for them to have significant increases in their revenue stream, and also to create meaningful employment opportunities, as you stated earlier, for the residents that they typically hire in the District of Columbia.
When you say executive leadership, define that for us.
So we are particularly looking for businesses that are more seasoned. And so when we talk about executive leadership, it's a difference in terms of looking at how you balance working in and on your business. And it's focused on how the leader or the head of that business, the founder or the CEO, is managing both, but also building up their team. And it's just figuring out how they can understand where they fit within their business, and how they're continuously thinking about how they're designing, planning, and growing their business. And so we try to help them look at it from all angles. And it's not focused on the nuts and bolts of how do you read a profit and loss statement. It's not skill-based. It's really around strategy and execution of that strategy. And also defining the vision for really being crystal clear about the vision and the principles of that particular company.
So, Evette, present company not excluded. When it comes to cohorts and training programs and what have you for entrepreneurs, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of times, they want to do programs, but then they're so busy running their businesses that they can't seem to find the time to fit it in. How do you all, help folks to get around that, to make sure that, they're not taking what they think is precious time away from their businesses to get precious information that they probably need to help to build and sustain their businesses? Time is an issue.
Sure. And I think that's the strategic part, because businesses get sometimes so bogged down on working on their business as opposed to, or rather working in their business as opposed to working on their business. But our particular program, our sessions are offered, the cohort that will be participating in this program, they will be meeting on Saturday. We intentionally designed this program so that the businesses, the MBEs, will not be distracted. They hopefully will be completely dialed in, because they're not worried about the day-to-day during the week in terms of operating their business. But even if they were to participate in a program that is during the day, it really is figuring out, how do I structure my time by delegating and demonstrating their leadership, which goes back to this notion of working and balancing between working in and on your business. And how do you do that when you need to get something or participate in something that's going to take you to the next level?
Yeah, so that's great, because you got to convince folks that this is valuable time, and it's and a Saturday extends a work week, but at least it's not taking away from your day-to-day operations. How can people get involved with the program?
So if they go to our website at thecoalitiondc.org and /elevate, which is on the screen, they will find all the information. They'll find the application. They will also find the eligibility criteria and the criteria that we're looking for this particular cohort, which is focused on the green economy and sustainable minded businesses. And then there's additional information, and you can also reach out to me. All that information is on our website if you want to learn more about the program. They can also visit our YouTube channel at the Coalition DC. It's our YouTube channel where they can see a video where we recently had an information session so that they can learn more about the details of that program.
Okay, and are there other opportunities that the coalition provides to small businesses, let's say, or to business executives if they're not involved with the program? Are there other things that the coalition supports?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that, because a lot of the businesses that have participated in Elevate, if they have not been introduced to the coalition before, they may not know about our DCAP program, which is the DC Community Anchor Partnership. And that particular program helps to connect MBEs to the anchor institutions in the District of Columbia. And so some of the businesses that are already participating in DCAP learn about Elevate and vice versa. And so it is an opportunity when you're engaged with us to learn about employment, or rather opportunities for growth that will help your company. And so we encourage businesses not just to participate in Elevate, but to be engaged with the coalition.
Okay, so because when you say anchor programs, you're talking about what?
Well, we're talking about anchor institutions. So your universities, your hospitals, your utility companies in the District of Columbia.
So do you give resources or information? What happens?
So they will receive, if the program, or excuse me, if the business has been vetted and they are right for this program, DCAP, they will have the opportunity to go after contracting procurement opportunities. So we've had a number of businesses through their relationship with us that have been able to secure contracting opportunities with Children's Hospital, with Georgetown University, etc. As well as the Airport Authority, Washington Airport Authority. So all of the anchor institutions that are part of DCAP, when they have a contracting opportunity that aligns with the businesses that we have relationships with, they get that information and they can actually bid for those opportunities.
Wow, it's a win-win situation, it sounds like. And the criteria once again, what does a business have to, or the business owner, what's the criteria for them to qualify?
Sure. So the eligibility and the criteria are pretty simple. They have to be in the DMV. They need to be a minority-owned business, at least 51% minority-owned business. We're looking for businesses that are in the green economy or have their value proposition is sustainability. And so they have embedded that within how they operate in their company, or they're looking to do that. We are looking for businesses to be in operation for 5 years at a minimum, to have at least 5 full or part-time employees. It also could be a contract employees, a 1099. And then finally, a revenue of at least $300,000. So they have to have at least 2 of those 3 criteria to be eligible for the program.
I was adding them up. I'm glad you said 2 of the 3. I'm sure folks out there will meet that eligibility, at least 2 of them, maybe more. That'll be great. Would be great, and still be able to take advantage of the Elevate program. I think that's fantastic. Anything you want to share before we sign off?
No,
Anything else?
This is an excellent program. It's backed by George Washington University School of Business. And so our partnership and collaboration with the university enables us to bring best-in-class education, management level education program to the District of Columbia, but specifically to benefit minority-owned businesses. So I encourage businesses to apply and visit our website, reach out to us if they have any questions.
Well, I can only say once again, as I said in the previous conversation, it sounds like DEI is not dead totally, and so I'm glad that this program is available. Hopefully, people will hear this and take advantage of it, or share it with someone that you might know. We're just again going to put up the website one more time so people can take a look. And I want to remind folks again, if you missed out on this program, or you want to share it with someone, you can always go back to our YouTube channel and hear all of the great information that our guests, including Evette, has shared with us today. So I want to thank you so very much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
All righty. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. And now, drum roll, Catherine Buell, Chair of the Women of Color in Community Development. Catherine, welcome to Let's Talk.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you and to know, I mean, you are one of the busiest women that I have met in business. You always seem to be in the right places at the right time. And now we're talking about women of color in community development. Tell us what you're doing with this program.
So Women of Color in Community Development is a 15-year-old nonprofit. It was actually started around kitchen tables in Capitol Hill by women who are working in the community development field. Folks like Donna Gambrell, who is a leader at Treasury Department CDFI, who now runs a nonprofit focused on Appalachian development. We have founding partners from Lisa Hall to Ornamenta Newsom, who so many people know and love. And we are continuing in our journey to create a network of women across the country. Here in the District of Columbia, we also have a chapter in Atlanta who know each other, who all work in the community development field, and also have an opportunity to support each other in our efforts. Community development is a hard field to work in sometimes because we think of it as being diverse, and it's not always as diverse, but we want to make sure that we're supporting the folks who are on the front lines.
Wonderful. And when you speak, I mean, just most folks know what community development means, but what does it mean for this organization?
It really means anything and everything. So I'm an attorney by trade, and I used to work for the deputy mayor's office. That's when we first had the pleasure of meeting, running the St. Elizabeth's redevelopment. So I worked in economic development, but it could mean working in healthcare. It could mean working in education. It could mean working in sustainability. Really, it runs the gamut. But folks who touch the community in some form or fashion, from whatever stance they sit in, whether it's finance, whether it's legal, or whether it's in an executive role.
Wonderful. And so what are we doing? We're trying to, I guess, share this program with folks or this organization. So to try to, open it up, let folks know that they can become members. And let's talk about that and the member benefits.
Absolutely. So we're really excited. This year, we are getting back out there. We're really proud that the Women of Color and Community Development made it through COVID and made it through the downturn, and we are still here. We're having our first membership drive on February 14th. We're calling it a Galentine's event to beef up our membership numbers and just to make sure people are part of our network. Our membership fees are low because we are blessed to have a number of organizational sponsors who support the work that we're doing to make sure that we have a network, to make sure that we have an opportunity to connect. But we're also looking to share information. So one of our founding board members is now the mayor of the city of Alexandria,
Wow.
Mayor Aaliyah Gaskins. Yes, and she has been in the community development field for years. She is also just the most genuinely nice person that you can meet. And if you look at the Alexandria City Council now, it's actually one of the most diverse city councils that they have. And so we're going to hear directly from her about her experience on March 13th, have a conversation with her and what she sees coming down the pipeline, because while we hear a lot about what's happening at the federal level, there's also a lot of positive movement happening at the local level. And so making sure that people see those bright spots and that we talk about what our local leaders are doing is critical, and also supporting the local leaders. How can we show up? How can we support the work that she's doing? She ran on a platform of affordable housing, infrastructure improvements, education, and the like. And so making sure that we know that she's out there in the field, and that we can have a real beneficial exchange between leaders who are doing this work and have been doing this work for a long time, and also those who are just getting into the field.
Everything that you're saying right now sort of fits into my 2025. I have 2 words for 2025: possibilities and opportunities. And that's what it sounds like Women of Color in community development is really focused on. And just sharing that. And I like the fact that you all are kind of headfirst into continuing diversity. and inclusion for women, because we're still not in a lot of places. And so I think that's fantastic. And you said the membership level is low. But what are the other requirements of membership? How often do you meet? Is there anything else one would need to commit to once they become a member?
No, we actually really focus on social events so that people can get to know each other in an informal way. And that's really important for a number of different reasons. And I'll give you my own personal story. When I was starting up in the legal world, I joined the Washington Bar Association Young Lawyers Division. And I was in a major law firm, white shoe law firm, that wasn't very diverse, which is fine. But I got to go to these events and just network and talk to people who were working in the legal field. And I felt encouraged by the energy that they brought into the field and the work that they were doing. And just seeing those examples made a huge difference. And so for us at Women of Color and Community Development, it really is about building those professional networks. We have forums about real estate development and what does it mean to invest in real estate? What does it mean to invest in housing? But also having those informal environments where we can just get together to know who each other are. Our latest events, I was touched. Some folks do know me from Amazon. I created and launched the Amazon Housing Equity Fund. And I went to our most recent networking event and I met two young architects who were working on a number of the projects that we had funded. And I almost ugly cried because just knowing that the work had trickled downstream and they were so passionate and so excited about the work that they're doing. Having that connection means a lot to us. And we don't always see the impact of our work. We don't always see how wide the network is. And so making sure that we're able to show up in these spaces, exchange what it is that we're working on, but also have the soft space just to be and not to have to worry about whether or not you're a woman, whether or not you're diverse. You can just come, you can show up, and you can talk about the fabulous work that you're doing.
That's just exciting, Catherine. So I'm really glad that you're here to share this with us and to invite, because that's what you're doing. You're inviting folks to join the organization of Women of Color in Community Development. It sounds like it's a wide open door. And tell us again when you all will be, when your next meeting happens, and if folks can join at the time, or do they have to do it ahead of time, or how does that work?
Yeah, so our next event is going to be on February 20th, and it's going to be downtown at Reed Smith's office in their penthouse. And we're looking to bring together people to update their professional headshots. Everybody needs a headshot.
I just got one done yesterday. And you have some beautiful ones. You've inspired me.
That is great. But it's important, it's needed, but also just to come out and get to know each other and in a social environment. So check out our website. It's wccdwomen.org /events. We have a number of events going on. You'll also see the Mayor Gaskin's leadership talk on our website. And as we have new events and new chats, you will see them there. Also on our website is a job board. We're really proud that people are quietly sending us jobs to make sure that the information is being shared. So many people are worried about their current positions or may have found themselves no longer having a job. We want to make sure that the information is getting out there. And we're also building out our internal directory so that everybody knows who each other are, so that if you have a question, you don't know who to ask about energy efficiency and technical details of some intricate project. We want to make sure that if there's an energy efficiency expert in our network, that you know who they are, you have their contact information, and you're able to easily access them.
Quick question, and I know that there may be some watching. I know this is women in community development, but women of color in community development. But I know that there may be some others that are watching that are similarly situated and may want to know about the job board that you have, or what you make, because a lot of people are being affected. So can others peek in and see what's there?
Okay. Absolutely. And we have diverse people of all ilk and background come to our events. We are not just exclusively women of color. And so I invite those who are in the space, because right now the space is difficult. Folks are going through a lot. So come to our events, come feel the energy, come get a hug and somebody who can relate, because we have to fill ourselves up with positive energy. We have to fill ourselves up with encouragement. We know that a lot is coming at people in the community development field in the United States, period. But the only way that we're going to make it through to the other end is if we support each other, we spread our light to each other, we spread our words of encouragement, and we make sure that we become a resource to each other.
Wonderful. Catherine, thank you so very much. You might see me in the space on the 14th.
That's wonderful. We would
at the Galentine's Day. And as a matter of fact, our next guest who we're going to talk to over at the O Street Mansion might want to host you all one day. I'm pushing it for her.
All right.
Yeah, let's as we collaborate, because you talk about collaboration. So we might want to do that. But I want to thank you so much for sharing. And come back and talk to us some more about what's happening with the organization. All righty. Thanks for being there. Here.
Thank you, Denise.
Here and here. All righty. Take care. Bye-bye. H. Leonard, are you here?
I am honored to be at the same table with you. You are my hero.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Talking and anything I can do to help you with anything in our community, I just ask.
Oh, well, hey, you don't know because we will. But I think people, you're here. You are owner of the O Street Mansion, founder of the O Street Museum.
It owns me, actually.
I'm sorry?
It owns me because
it owns you.
So I am just the caretaker.
Yeah, well, if one walks into the space, right, they can see where the space has taken you over. It's a beautiful space. The museum is fantastic. And I'm glad to have had the opportunity to be there a few times. So, I think it's a great place, a great venue if people want to have events, right? That's possible. Let's talk about that a little bit.
So we've been here since February 14th, 45 blessed years.
Wow.
It's the grace of God as a nonprofit that we exist. And I think it's because quietly we have reached out to the community and helped people for 45 years. An example of that is Mrs. Rosa Parks lived here at no cost with her friends for 10 years. No one knows that because we did it quietly.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
When you help people, they help you. And that's what the community is all about. And that's why I adore what you do.
AJ, tell us the cross street of where you're located. I know it's O Street.
Off of DuPont Circle between 20th and 21st Street.
Exactly. And it's a very kind of traditional, I don't know how you would describe the building, but it's a beautiful building outside and in. So talk about a little bit about the building itself.
Well, there's 112 rooms, 112 different ceilings. And I designed it that way so people would look up and understand that we're just a little piece of the world, reach out and help other people. There are now over 100 secret doors. And the secret doors for me are much like the movies, where you go to a movie to find out pieces of yourself and learn things from. It's filled with donated objects from people throughout the world. And they give it to us with heart. So when you walk in the front door, you feel that love. We encourage people to touch history, to feel history. We encourage people to have dialogue with each other. And what's interesting here is, unlike other places, people talk to each other, people that don't know each other, because they'll gravitate to an object they remember their grandmother, and they turn to somebody else and they talking about family. And it's just empowering. I cannot wait to wake up every morning because it's an adventure, and it's an adventure of what we can do for each other if we dare to be different.
Wow.
Together and find out our similarities, because we are all so similar to each other. We just don't know that.
Well, those are words that we certainly enjoy or appreciate hearing right now. But this is also the 40th anniversary of We Are the World, the USA for Africa. What does this mean for you, the significance of this song, this movement, and this anniversary?
Great question. I am on the board of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And for about 15 years now, we've been working with USA for Africa. It's an extraordinary organization. The same executive director who will be here on Sunday 40 years ago is the same person today that runs it. She got an agreement from Harry Belafonte and Quincy Jones that if she took on this job after being the number 2 person at the LA Olympics, 100% of what they raised had to go to feed the homeless in the United States and in Africa. So $220 million have primarily gone to Africa for these purposes.
Wow.
She's amazing hidden figure. And a couple years ago, we awarded her the Rosa Parks Humanitarian Award for her being a true hidden figure, because it's never about, if you think of USA for Africa or We Are the World, you think of Quincy Jones, you think of Lionel Richie, you think of Michael Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
and Harry Belafonte, but you don't think about what happened to the money. All of it went to help other people. And that's why I'm so honored to be the world premiere is going to be held here. It's a documentary that goes beyond the song and talks about what happened from music, from the commitment from all the stars that were there and serving other people.
So are you planning, let's get a date and what it's going, any special performances, any special guests, what's going to happen?
So it is this Sunday. We are asking people to be here by 4:30. The document, then they can explore and look for secret doors and talk with each other. And then the actual film will start at 5:30, and then there will be a panel discussion after.
Okay. You're expecting any special guests besides all the people that show up?
We never announce who's going to be here, but some will be calling in.
Yeah, wonderful.
Oh,
So go ahead. No.
The special guest for me is Marcia Thomas, who's been making sure that the money goes to the right places. The filmmaker will be here. The photographer that did much of the footage from 40 years ago from Kenya will be here. It's going to be stunning. And
say that again. I'm sorry.
You will be here.
I'm glad to know about this, because it's something that I would certainly love to attend, and to know that, this is an ongoing mission, right? This is 40 years ago. We had a song, again, all that, we raised money, but now where are we today?
So what's interesting is they raised $80 million when the song first came out. 40 years later, they've amassed $220 million because the song is eternal. They keep on doing things to bring it back to life. So this year there's 2 documentaries, one that Lionel did and this one, which is the behind the scenes and where everything about the famine, the music, and the impact. So you can be sustainable. You can do something and continue it, because when you have something great, it has no shelf life.
Are there any specific countries in Africa where this money is going, or where programs are being supported that you are aware of?
Kenya, Ethiopia still today has massive problems. I think when the song came out, 1 million people had died from famine, which was man-made famine. It wasn't, which is really sad. But also yesterday, there was the big fundraiser in Los Angeles. Right. That I heard also raised $80 million to help the people of that had their homes burned, which is devastating.
Right. Someone said to me earlier on this year that the help or support that we need is in the room. And a lot of times we're looking outside, but it's right in the room. It's that dollar, it's that amount of time that we spend, it's those words, it's the skill that we may have. The help we need is in the room. And that's what it sounds like, We the World has really focused on over the years. I mean, would you agree, or could you add on to that, or what?
So right. It doesn't take it's just simple.
Yeah.
And it's in our hands. I think what's interesting is Harry Belafonte had so much to do with making this happen. In fact, if it wasn't for him, it would not have happened. And he is one of those people that serves others. People know who he is, but he didn't take a front seat on this at all. And what he said in his last interview that is in this film is, I hope I can quote this right, but he said, I believe something that Paul Robeson once said, that artists are the gatekeepers of truth. Artists instruct and they inspire. If you can do that, that gives you one of the most powerful tools in the world in which to commit yourself to the changing of the human heart and the human mind.
That's why we miss Harry Belafonte, but at least his words are still with us. So that's a true treasure. HH, I want to thank you so very much for being with us. Tell us one more time. It's the event is this Sunday.
This Sunday, come to the O Museum in the Mansion, 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. The film starts at 5:30, and you can sign up by going to omuseum.org.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much for being with us and sharing this important and entertaining and meaningful event.
Thank you. Bless you.
All right. Talk to you soon. So, boy, we've had a lot here. We've gone over, but, we try to share what we can, and we have so much more because, the Washington Informer tries to keep you informed. So there's never a lack of information to share with our viewers. So we'd love your feedback. If you have any comments, any folks that you might want to ask us to invite on the show, any information you have to share, reach out to us at news, at washingtoninformer.com. Again, that's news at washingtoninformer.com. We want to thank all of our guests who were with us today. Thanks for all the fantastic information. But as far as guests are concerned, I really want to thank those of you who've been watching the show for the past hour and 11 minutes. We appreciate you taking the time and being with us, and we hope to see you back here next week, same time, 12 o'clock. On WIN TV. And remember, we proclaim Black History Month. Have a great weekend.